A circular pit containing the skeletons of 7 people. They were placed in a bed of severed arms dubbed trophy limbs. They were found in eastern France by scientists. Well, the find is shedding new light on violent conflicts that happened 6,000 years ago, and the concept of how these victims were murdered in these conflicts for their limbs. Now, the pit represents a Neolithic burial practice and violence in 4000 BC. Jose, this is fascinating, but at the same time, you think about it, kind of disgusting. What do you make of this pit? And just now finding it.
Yeah, well, lately we've been finding a lot of testament to the early violence of humans. We are definitely a violent kind.
History of violence.
History of violence. This, you know, so we have a little historical context. This is happening in the late Stone Age, the Neolithic period. And this is a period that is very interesting because unlike the Paleolithic that was before the earliest Stone Age, the thinning of the different types of Homo sapiens happened in this period. And in the Stone Age, the Neolithic, the late Stone Age, there was only one type of Homo sapiens. Now we see that this confirms one of the theories of this finding, that is this inner group violence. This is something that was made to regulate the community that they were living on. They say that it was an effort to disturb the death, meaning disrespect those who died by putting some others on top of them, and just a section of them as like you said, as a trophy for those who are being celebrated on top of them.
Well, this pit that was found in Bergheim, France. Now, just to talk about the pit for a second, those that were attacked, these victims, they had their fractured arms. They had actually been chopped off, and apparently they buried the limbs in a layer in the pit underneath with some of their skeletons, which at the time, you know, all except for one arm, which is what they found. The upper layer also contained a fragment of an infant's skull. So they think that it might have been a family at first or a part of one societal group, and this was definitely a form of warfare.
Yes.
And very brutal. It's evidence that these butchered raids happened, and you mentioned the thinning of populations. What a brutal way to go.
It definitely. And
kind of an FU too at the same time.
And that's a good point, because not too long we covered a story about how a new study showed that one of the theories that there is that it was actually at this time where the social groups were becoming the norm and the development of society as we know it today, the breach of trust, pretty much treason, was one of the main reasons people will leave their groups and go to live in faraway places, inhospitable places. So we see that in this case, those who were in power might have taken some actions, just to regulate the group and incur violence and symbolical violence, violence that has a message to the rest of the community saying, this is what we do to those who commit those type of behaviors.
Well, carbon dating shows that these bones that are 5,500 to 6,000 years old were actually, buried in some Game of Thrones style, type of way, in real life going on now. And we found this in Central Europe. It really is a testament to how violent, brutal, nasty, and short the human race and our history has been.